Everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how you don't necessarily have to be codependent to have codependent thoughts. What does this look like? How does it show up for us? What the heck to do about it right here or right now? And where did this come from? Watch this video. Hey, welcome to my channel. If you're new, please click the little subscribe button, the bell to receive notification when I release new videos. And if you've been here with us for a while, thank you so much and welcome back. Today, we're going to dive into this topic of codependency and codependent thoughts. Recently, I was teaching one of my inner work groups. By the way, have to let you know, new one starts January 9th. So if you'd like to join us, all the information is below. And I was in this group last week and the topic came up. In this group, it's 8 weeks, so it's a very structured approach to healing, and it's very synchronistic with exactly what's going on in the stages of healing, and that's why it works so well. And so people get really nervous when they start to accelerate their healing and things are changing, and then somewhere in there, they'll feel like they have a backslide of sorts, or they're afraid that they will. And so this topic came up, and I said, ho, here we go. Most often what happens is people backslide a little bit and they get really upset about it and they start judging themselves and they think that none of it's worked and none of it was for anything. And I say, hold on a minute. Let's look at it like this. Before I tell you where it came from, let me tell you what happens. Let's picture an alcoholic who's in AA. The thoughts don't go away right away, but the behaviors do, right? Because now you're not drinking. And it takes the mind and emotion quite a long time to catch up to being okay with this behavior of not drinking. And that's why people in AA celebrate their sobriety every year. And it's a big deal because it's very hard. Because it is a daily practice to line up your emotions and your actions with something that's good for you. And you have to remember every day, some days they feel like drinking, but they tell themselves, oh, that's just that thought process. I know I have different things to do now instead. And so I want to relate a codependent thought and a codependent pattern to that. Codependency is I give up parts of me, I abandon self for other. I put other people's needs or the thoughts of other people above thoughts of myself, right? So if we slipped back into a codependent thought, what that looks like is, sure, you're in a healthier relationship. You have a better relationship to self. You know how to self-love. You know how to reparent. You know all these things now. And all of a sudden you get stuck and you start to feel depressed and you start to feel confused. And what I want you to know is behind that is this idea, it's usually subconscious, that I'm growing and I'm doing things for myself. This guilt sets in like I'm doing something wrong. So I'm going to read to you, I wrote this article recently for this magazine about codependency and codependent thoughts. And I want to share just a couple of the ideas with you that I wrote. If you have thoughts like this, I can't make a decision unless I know what he or she is doing. How can I be so sure unless it is agreed upon by others? Is it right for me if others are bothered by it, right? I'm fine with it as long as others are okay. I live to please others because pleasing me got others upset, right? When you choose you and put you first, you get in trouble. If I do something I want, chances are I'll be alone. So a lot of times with those thoughts, we just get stuck because we get so rampant in this self-focus. And that does not mean selfish, it means self-honoring. When we honor our needs and ourself first, life starts working out for us because the universe supports those that support ourselves. It is not selfish. That is a big part of the program. Is selfish is I do things regardless of others' feelings or if it hurts them. Self-honoring is I have to take care of me regardless of you because I have to take care of me, right? It's totally different. And so when we get in these thoughts, we have to remember those are codependent thoughts, meaning I am co-dependent on someone else to make a decision, to take care of me, to live out. So are you still attached to your narcissistic ex? Are you still attached to that parent that you never got approval from? What are you attached to that you think I can't keep growing and moving forward unless I get their approval? I want to teach you right now how to self-approve. You're going to write down what that is. What is the feeling? What is the thing? Then write down why you need that, why it's not okay to move forward. What are you afraid of? What are you waiting for? And then do it anyway. And now I want to explain to you where that comes from. We are born into a very gnarly emotional dark age. We're not taught emotional intelligence in school. Many of our parents did not do their inner work. Most of them didn't before they had us. So they also were emotionally stunted in certain ways. And now we are taking on the work that they did not finish, because we are the light workers, the way showers, and we are the ones to end the triangle injury. And what that means is when we were young, our inner guidance system was hijacked. Why? Because if we listened to the wise guidance side and it wasn't agreed upon by mom, dad, school teachers, whatever, societal standards, I have a lot to say about that, then we would have to abandon it to feel safe because of security, because of survival, because of the need to be in a tribe, because of the need to fit into a society. And every time we abandoned parts of ourselves or our inner guidance, we got really weak in what to know, how to do what. So we would look externally for evidence of where we're supposed to go. And then we become dependent. And codependency is being dependent on undependable people, which is basically everyone. When you think about, your inner guidance knows how to direct you in your life. And when you can't be in touch with what you feel, right? When you're told as a child, your feelings don't make me feel comfortable, and you abandon your feelings, you can't hear your inner guidance. You can't feel your intuition. Instead, we start lining up with the trauma feelings. And we think that our trauma is our intuition, and then we start doing things that our trauma tells us is safe, which means leaving ourselves to line up with others. Take that in, right? If I listen to myself, I won't be safe. That's a big thing we need to get over when we have to get past these codependent thoughts. The truth is, when I heal my traumas and I line up with my inner guidance, it's dangerous not to listen to that. So if we're having these codependent thoughts, we have to ask ourselves, why in this moment am I in fear? Why in this moment am I lining up with what other people might think? What about me is not trusting me? What doesn't feel right? We have to write it all out. What is going on to push me back into a stuck experience where I need external or other opinion, approval, whatever it is, to know that I can trust what I need? And why don't I know what I need in the moment? Even more of a codependent thought. Why don't I know what I need in the moment? What am I putting above my need? It's going to be subconscious, and that's why I'm asking you to dive into it. Dive into the work of, what do I feel? Why don't I know what I feel? What's happening right now that I'm going back into the thought of needing other for this experience? And when you do that, what I want you to do instead of going to other is I want you to go within. I want you to do this writing assignment, and then I want you to meditate on yourself and your higher self. If there was nothing to fear and I couldn't do anything wrong, what would I be doing? If there was nothing to fear and I couldn't do anything wrong, what would I be doing? If there was nothing to fear and I couldn't do anything wrong, what would be happening different than it is right now? I want you to try that. If you are a Patreon member, I will see you over there in a few minutes with the worksheet and the learning. I adore you guys. Please check the links below. Please share this with anyone you think it might resonate with. And I want to thank you for being here and doing the work. I'll see you next week.